Hi everyone, welcome to Tarot Map. This is Kasia. In this video, I want to tackle a very important subject for me. You maybe heard me talking about it for a while now. This is the subject of peri-menopause and menopause, and how we can support ourselves through this transition with tarot decks and oracle decks with divination. So I have been really, like, for the last maybe 2 or 3 years going through shifts around my moods, my hormonal balance, my body. I'm still on my period fairly regularly, but I used to have periods with hot flashes, then they disappeared. There's aches and pains in my joints, and there's so-called menobrain, where you get a bit hazy and your memory is weird. So there's a lot of different symptoms that we experience in our bodies when we go through these changes. And for the last 2-3 years, I was already, kind of observing tarot and tarot archetypes, and I was picking different cards and kind of I tried to see what I'm going through in the cards of tarot. And sometimes image speaks thousands of words, right? So I thought in this particular video I'm going to share a few of the cards that I associate with the initiation of transition into the elder woman and going through the menopause, but I also wanted to invite you to an offering that I kind of selfishly created for myself in a way, because I need that community. I did study with Sharon Blackie. I have done the year-long course on Haggitude with her, with like hundreds of women. It was lovely, but I actually missed more intimate gathering where actually women get to know each other, when we can support each other, exchange stories. During this 1 year of Haggitude, I realized how different women can go through menopause and how many different symptoms that can be, how some women don't really feel much, etc., etc. Everything is quite valid. So I want to offer like 3 meetings, 3 kind of tarot circles, and I want to invite any of you who is moving through perimenopausal symptoms or has been going through menopause for a while now, or even those who are postmenopausal and want to join us and share your wisdom with your younger your younger women. I always look out for wisdom of people who went through this particular rite of passage. So I called this offering the Crone's Compass, and this is going to be a 2-hour Zoom call, 3 2-hour Zoom calls, where we are going to work specifically with tarot and with our own experiences in a way, but then share them and discuss and exchange. So first of all, we are going to learn more about tarot cards and find our more personal connection to the cards, and maybe new angles and new faces of certain cards that you may already know quite well. And then we also will have like a support kind of group therapy, a fun time gatherings where we exchange our stories, and I think that's very, very important, invaluable really. So I want to provide a container for that. I want the group not to be huge, but have enough women to get a momentum, to have that sharing that's alive. And to this particular gathering, I would like to invite women who have basic understanding of tarot cards. So it's not really for like total beginners with the tarot, that when you look at the death card, nobody knows, oh, what does it mean, or people get scared. Like, it's not for you guys, I'm sorry. This is more for people who are at least familiar with tarot decks and tarot archetypes and how tarot is built, and are at some, certain, like, not maybe necessary intermediate or professional, but like know and work with the cards. I want it to be raw, deep, and honest. I want to be able to also maybe convey some of my ideas about tarot cards. I also want to include, of course, different ways of support, including essential oils mostly, flower essences, and sound therapy, which works for me really well, and different divinatory ways of how we can support ourselves during this transition. So without further ado, I want to now, I will come back to it maybe later on and let you know how the course will be structured. But for those people who are maybe not interested in joining in, but like want to see what cards I connect with menopause, I'm going to share now just 3, there is more, but I'm going to share 3 cards that to me really well depict certain aspects of this transition. So I have some notes here, so I'm going to be looking to the side, so forgive me for that. But of course, the first card that really strongly comes to mind, and I'm pretty sure a lot of menopausal and peri-menopausal women agree with that, is the sense of death of self. So in this case, I chose the Death card, and of course, Death card is a card of transition. It's a card of shedding old identities, dying to part of oneself that maybe, is no longer available, or it has to transmute, it has to change. There's never the same after we go through the Death card. The life is never the same as it used to be before. We're shedding as women mothering roles, fertility focused images, creative or like very sexualized, image of ourselves as well. We're shedding how we look at ourselves, how we look, the part of us kind of grieves, getting older, looking at our bodies kind of deteriorating in some way. This is a time of grieving as well, and I think grief is part of death, and grief is part of the process of menopause. But it's also, of course, a chance, to let go, let die whatever is no longer serving us, is available to us, or plainly has to end. And sometimes that's a very tough process to move through. The old life, the rhythm of, this passionate old life is also shifting and changing a volume, and something new is definitely forming on the horizon, like this sun here. But while we go through this initiation, you are not able to see it yet quite clearly. So, of course, with menopause, as through the Death card, we always faced with endings. We, faced with endings to our menstrual cycle, with hot flushes, with changes in sleep, in libido, in energy. And, we experience this individually, but usually there is some sense of loss and some sense of shifting role. And also the lesson there is that we cannot cling onto it, because this transition has to happen, is happening to everybody. And even though in our reality right now, there is like pills for everything, but no pill has stopped menopause totally, right? It can extend you feeling better, it can boost your estrogen levels, etc., which is wonderful, but at some point you have to face that. So we are going to be exploring during this Crone's compass, what identities are dying right now for us, and what are we being invited to surrender with death, what's ready to go, or what we need to prepare to let go with more, grace. Another card that I feel, for me, always kind of, I connected it always to menstruation, was Eight of Cups. I don't know if there are any of you here that looked at Eight of Cups as menstruation, maybe the red coat, I'm not sure, but like I always, whenever I pulled this card, I knew my period is coming or I'm on the period, stuff like this. So let me know in the comments if you also connected this Eight of Cups with this particular, subject. But Eight of Cups usually, it's like from kind of, deeper psychological meaning, is turning away from some like fullness, from something that's still, standing in a way. It's a conscious decision. Eight is connected to the Strength card in the major arcana, or to justice when we're balancing things, depending what system you use. And there's usually a new moon or eclipsed sun or moon on the sky, but the person is kind of like a pilgrim. And I feel like through menopause, we're venturing into the unknown, we're crossing over, we're dying, only to find ourselves on this path, but we don't know where it leads. It kind of leads to us again, but like we're changing, right? So there is this sense of leaving us behind to find us again in some way. But again, this is a great time if we want to empower ourselves to leave behind unhealthy habits or expectations that are not just ours, maybe societal, maybe from families. We are feeling in some way freer to leave those expectations and roles behind, and walk away from pressure of how we're supposed to be. And I feel like we able to connect and express a little bit more our sacred rage. And I think this red cloak and the red shoes also speak about that sometimes overpowering emotion of anger, frustration, sacred rage, that I feel each woman in different volumes again will be feeling, and staying with this emotion. We often blow up at our close ones. There's a lot of that, but I think there is like a very deep need for us being able to express it one way or another, the better way. Not like blow up everybody around us, but there is definitely a sense of anger and sense of frustration and sense of emotional, like overpowering of emotions that we often feel. So with this sense, what are you leaving behind could be a good question. And what is the deeper truth, more aligned, more honest, more empowered, that you are out to follow or to find. And then the last card that I want to share with you, it's Four of Pentacles. It's not a very, maybe a card that I saw very often in anywhere that women pick, but I feel this is a pretty spot-on card to discuss during the menopausal or peri-menopausal transformation, because this card speaks about holding on to stuff, creating security, very strong boundaries, gathering and consolidating energy or resources, and very often this clinging to old versions of self out of fear or discomfort of change doesn't really go very well during the menopausal transition. Like, we are bound to change. So the more we're holding, the more we're trying to prolong the youth, the more we're trying to, look younger than we should, the more we're trying to escape our beautiful wrinkles, etc., the harder it is. And this need for safety also and control that comes with Four of Pentacles, it's really interesting when life becomes truly unpredictable with all these hormonal changes. Because when hormones take over, very often, even if you're self-aware, even if you read, learn and educate about yourself about menopause and how it happens in your body, it sneaks up on you. Only after a while you're like, oh gosh, these are my hormones. But sometimes you just feel like you're going crazy. So a lot of us try to hold on to something. So also, because it's Four of Pentacles, I often call it a card of constipation. And I feel like, around our health, there is this tension that we hold in our bodies around changing weight, appearance, aging. So we're trying to hold on to this, kind of comfortable look that we, let's say, used to have. Also, we tend to maybe hold too tightly on certain routines or certain remedies that may no longer work for us, because we are changing, we are dying to who we were, and we are really venturing in our red clothes on the path of empowerment and finding a different, in some way new self. So financial security, legacy, independence, all of this comes with the Four of Pentacles. And what I would like us to do during these meetings, during these tarot circles that I want to offer under the Crone's Compass logo, will be for each of the participants to pick 5 cards. And on the first meeting, we are going all discuss, what this particular card means for you. And that's why I would like people to have certain, knowledge of the cards, so that it's just easier and smoother. I feel like stories and myths and different. I want us even somehow to nearly write a fairy tale or a story, a myth about our own transition. But I chose a couple of decks that I think are very great for people who, let's say, don't join the course but want to maybe work at home. I feel like this Kate Forcer's Fairy Tale Oracle is really beautiful for exploring myths, as is Clarissa Pinkola Estes with Women Who Run with Wolves. But yeah, this deck is really gorgeous when it comes to exploring different motives that, each woman will find 100% while going through menopause. There can be a different experience of feeling through these motives, but I'm sure they will all be there. So this is a really cool deck that I highly recommend. I really love, and I'm sharing decks that I find particularly helpful during this transition. While moving through death, you don't always want fluffy decks. You don't want decks that are too light, too happy. To me, at least, it gets really annoying. I do need sometimes just a warm hug deck. I don't want anything harsh, but most of the times, I'm dealing with a lot of harsh emotions, and I need decks that reflect this and that help me to understand or, shift my perspective. So they have to be quite deep decks. So I love the Red Seeds Oracle. Here I only pulled the number 3, the third one, and just because I love Marion Woodman's quotes here. But yeah, this deck, it's very great for any type of transition, just because it provides us with the challenge and with the gift. And the descriptions here are very empowering, but also very down to earth, no fluff. And that's very helpful, in my opinion. I love Margaret Peterson tarot, because the booklet and the tarot deck come to you with this kind of Buddhist perspective, and it's very reflective, it's very comforting in a way, but it gives the ball back to you, because we, as much as we are going through very huge bodily changes, this is a huge practice for the mind, and I think it's a huge preparation also, this initiation and moving through this transition. It is a huge preparation for death itself, for later on. So Margaret Peterson, I think this is a great deck to work with during these times, or when you have grief to work with, etc. I love Circle of Doors tarot to work with. I love this tarot of individuation to add to the table. From the plant oracles, I really love this essential oil And Dead Gems have very cool booklet as well that helps. I think Jessica's decks, the Story Medicine Tarot, very cool. This one especially I find very powerful, simple, and to the point when it comes to menopause. This one as well, actually, but it's much more archetypal and kind of just has a different vibe, adds something different. Forest of Precious Twigs with the Sweet Fool as well, but also this Oracle decks, Forest of Precious Twigs and We Star Oracle. There's just something magical about these decks and the way they are written. It's so beautiful, and I just feel, you know, they are the perfect companion for these times. So I will be sharing also my resources, my favorite decks during the course, my favorite books. We might be doing also some shamanic journey. I think this shamanic dream dust shamanic tarot, also a perfect deck to explore without feeling the need to be too literal. This is a great deck to move. Also Death Doula Oracle. I'm going to catch up with the creator of Death Doula Oracle, and I think this Death Doula Oracle is also a wonderful deck to use, as is the Inner Compass cards and many more. I'm not going to show all of them right now, but if you are interested in joining us, then I'm going to offer this Crone's Compass very soon, because it's going to happen on 3 Sundays starting November 2nd. So there will be November 2nd, 9th and 16th, 3 Sundays. I try to make sure that everybody can join, but you know, I geared this for America, Europe and UK. Unfortunately for Australia it's 2 a.m, so I'm sorry guys, there's no way I can squeeze everybody, and I have more clients in America. The pricing will be very accessible, and there will be an early bird, there will be a supporter price, and there will be also like a VIP section when you get also a one-on-one reading with me regarding all these subjects if you want to discuss something deeper. And we are going to have 3 sessions, as I said. This is going to have a little bit teaching, but mostly our own experiences, experiential connection to the cards. The first session will be calling, let me just check where's my notes. The first session is Where Am I Now? So we will be really discussing, and you will have to come prepared for the first session with the 5 cards chosen. When you have you take time and really connect to the images that mostly speak to you, you will have to reduce them to 5. During the next session we will be navigating this threshold and exploring what's shifting, and also I am going to explore archetypes of tarot that are related to transition, like these 2 for example, but there's many more that we are going to go deeper in. And during our first and final kind of integrative session we are going to work, like meet the Crone truly, and I want us to leave this circle empowered, hopeful, and like in urgency and kind of passionate to go through this transition with as much awareness as possible. Of course, this is not going to be a course on menopause. This is going to be a course on how to work during menopause with any of these magical tools that I am so passionate about. Mostly we are going to focus on tarot in this one, but as I said, I'm going to add essential oils, flower essences, etc. And we will do a lot of group sharing. That's why I want the group to be kind of intimate, but also not like 3 people. I would like many of you to, join up, so that we have a momentum. I just love this subject. I always have loved it. So if you share the passion for me, you can make it happen. Please think about it. I'm going to put it on my website very soon. We're just working with my husband on the last bits and pieces on how to how to offer it, but within a couple of days it's going to be on the website. I'm going to advertise on my Instagram, so please subscribe. I'm going to share it here on YouTube as well. And of course, if you are not subscribed to my newsletter, please do so, because the subscribers will get the first info and first tips. Let me know where you are with this. Is this interesting to you? Is it something that, you know, sparks in your eyes? Is it interesting? I am very, very passionate about this subject, and while I'm going through it, it's very alive for me as well right now. So, you know, I want women who are moving through this transition or have gone and have space to share and support us to join in and share. All right, let me know, how are you moving through the death, any transition, any shift, any grieving period in your life? What supports you? I love sharing, so please like, subscribe to the channel, and I speak to you soon. Bye.